So who cares if there is no fresh tomato? Well, you will always eat rice and stew, right? You have to improvise. So we're going to be making stew with cabbage. I'm going to be showing you guys how I've been making my pot of stew with cabbage in my house, and everybody in the house enjoys this stew. Like you can't tell that there was no fresh tomato inside the stew. First of all, you get your cabbage. Depends on the quantity of stew you want to make, but I'm using this small cabbage. It's not big, so I just dice it into smaller cubes. Yeah, the cabbage is not much, so I'm going to be using but if it was big one, sometimes I share it into two, but today's own is not much, so I just dice it into smaller cubes and I will wash it. I'm going to be washing it with salt after I finished dicing it. So after washing it with salt water, I go ahead and blend it. I added water to it while blending for easier blending. And yeah, I added water that is drinkable because the juice is not going to be a waste. Before now, I've been taking cabbage juice, so it's not like I'm going to be wasting the water when I have the opportunity to drink it like every day, every weekend or something like that. So after blending, I'll go ahead and sieve out, pour it in a sieve. You can use a cheesecloth for this, but you can use a sieve like this as well. Sieve it out and press it very well to ensure that the whole water in the cabbage is extracted. So after extracting, this is the water we got from the cabbage. I'm going to be putting this in the bottle and put it in the fridge for my own personal consumption. Yeah, after that, I'll go ahead and boil my meat and cook my meats. And I'm using chicken. This one is old layer chicken sha. Then I'll go ahead and fry the meats as well. So we're going to be adding a tin tomato. I'm using this Sonia tin tomato because this Sonia tin tomato is, I like the fact that the color is always very deep, and yeah, I'm using 2 of the small ones to add to the cabbage puree. I'll go ahead and start frying my onion and pour in the tin tomato paste first. I'll pour in the tin tomato paste first and fry it until I feel like it is dry enough, the way I would normally do if I'm cooking my stew. When the tin tomato is dry enough for me, I will go ahead and add the cabbage puree. Cabbage, that's normally this cabbage, part of cabbage is the part you eat if you want to eat a cabbage swallow. So but this time we're using it to make stew. So I'll go ahead and turn it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and turn it very well and fry it a bit. When you're frying it to appear like it's white, don't worry, the color is going to change when you add water and start cooking. And then if you feel like you want the stew to be very, very red, like those red that will be entering your eye, you can blend tatashe and shombo and add to the stuff if you're blending it. But today's one, I'm not using shombo and tatashe. Yeah, so when I fry it, I'm adding water stock from the meat. I added a little and continue to fry it, and you can see the color has thickened up and darkened up. Is no longer white. I'll go ahead and put the rest of my meat stock. These are the parts I did not fry, like the head and the leg and the gizzard and all that. So after putting my meat stock, I go ahead, you add any spice of your choice. I didn't show the spice because I added spice to my meat when I was boiling it, so I didn't put another spice to the stew. And you allow it to boil very well, like boil very, very well. And when it boils for some time, this is what you will get. You can see that it looks just like fresh tomato stew. Then after that, I'm going to be adding the rest of the meat. So add the rest of the meat and cover it, allow it to boil more so that the meat can also take part of the stew, like suck in part of the stew. And if you're wondering if this stew is going to spoil, it didn't spoil. It lasted us for days in the fridge. Yeah, and as long as it is frozen, it's not going to go bad. And it didn't give, nobody had running stomach, and yeah, and it tasted really, really delicious. So who cares if there is no fresh tomato? Well, you will always eat rice and stew, right? You have to improvise. And I'm telling you, this thing tastes really, as in, it tastes better than tomato stew. Try it and tell me what you think.